Now, folks, this is just going to be a test to see how this looks. Because what I'd like to eventually do is do some lives. I think that's about. I hate that there's a shadow right here, but we'll see what ends up happening. The main thing is I want you to be able to see dice rolls. What about right about there? Or so. All right, that's not bad. All right, let's see how that ends up looking. All right, so, okay, here we go, folks. This is a Battlefields of Mana test. We are going to see how this looks. And instead of using those blue dice, which I absolutely love, let's use these black and white dice. Let's see, can you see the results there? Kind of, maybe. It's still a little blurry, but I think the white dice with the black pips are probably the easiest to see out of the dice that I have, especially with this resolution. Okay, so what do we have here? Well, this is an introductory scenario. It is going to be Regal Guard in its it's against Bandit Marauders, but essentially what this scenario encompasses is a peasant unit over here in this quote-unquote village, and this unit of Bandit Marauders headed toward them. Regal Guard have a unit of heavy cavalry over here with a unit commander in tow. And their goal, their objective here is to stop the Bandit Marauders from slaughtering these villagers. So we're going to see if they can do that. This kind of introductory scenario is just to kind of show off how movement works, how close combat works. And I think it's going to end up being pretty interesting. I've done this a couple times. I've tweaked it a little bit because, oh yeah, as you can imagine, one false move and the Bandit Marauders just start slaughtering these peasants. But you also don't want to make it too easy for the Regal Guard player either. All right, so again, heavy cav with the Regal Guard, Marauder cavalry with the Bandit Marauders, and a single unit of Peasant Militia in jeopardy in this little village area over here. All right, so the scenario begins with Bandit Marauders. Now, it's specifically set up so that, yes, they are 5 inches exactly away from the peasant unit. Bandit Marauders, I should say the Marauder Cav, have a movement of 6. And of course, in Battlefields of Mana, you get a movement action. And then if you've only taken 1 movement, because you could double it, take 2 movement actions, you then also get a close combat action. You do not get the close combat if you used both movement. So since they have a movement of 6, they're going to be able to charge in there with that only being 5 inches between the two, and then also still get their close combat. So let's go ahead and do that now. We're charging in. Bandit Marauders charging into Peasant Militia. First thing that happens is collision hits. Heavy cav just collided into the Peasant Militia unit. Let's roll a d6 and find out how many collision hits. Looks like that's a whopping 2. You can hopefully see that. So 2 collision hits. These are 2d6 unmodified against the Peasant Militia. Armor value 0. No, I'm sorry. Armor value 1. Armor value 0 would be absolutely atrocious. Peasant Militia, armor value 1. So we are just simply looking for 2s or better. Oh my gosh, and that's about as low as you can roll and still hit. So we have 2 potential hits there. Peasant Militia are defending against this. They get the exact same number of dice. They just need 2s or better. So if you see any 1s here, that's going to be wounds. So let's roll these up. Defense for the Peasant Militia. Oh my gosh, a pair of 2s. These dice are terrible. At least we're using the same dice for both sides because at that point, it's fair, right? So we had the Marauder Cavalry. Remember, these are collision hits. Marauder Cavalry, 2 collision hits, 2s. This is the Peasant Militia's defense roll. Unfortunately, that 1 is going to let one of these measly 2s get through. So, oh yes, that's going to be a wound on the Peasant Militia. They've already taken a wound just thanks to those collision hits. Okay. Next up would be the magic phase. In this little scenario, no magic. Next would be ranged combat. In this scenario, no ranged. So we go into phase 4 of a turn, which is close combat. So let's go ahead and do that now. We have an initiative roll-off here, folks. Now, Marauder Cavalry have an initiative bonus of 3. They get a +1 to that for charging in. They get another +1 because they are cavalry facing non-polearm infantry. So that brings their 3 up to a 5. Now with that, the Peasant Militia are a 0 initiative bonus. No modifiers at this point. So it is going to be a 5 to 0. Let's roll for the Bandit Marauders first. They're a 5 plus 6. Oh, that's an 11. That's impossible. Well, honestly, if the Bandit Marauders had rolled anything other than a 1, it would have been inachievable for the Peasant Militia because now there is 0 plus 1. They know what's about to happen. So an 11 to 1. That means Bandit Marauders are going first. So here we go. Here's a Bandit Marauder. Marauder Cav attack. They get 6 dice. 2 dice for each figure in the front rank. So that'll be 6 plus their Marauder die, a D10. 7 or above is an automatic wound, unblockable. So let's roll them all up at once. 6d6 and 1d10. And again, Peasant Militia are armor 1, and these dice are all, except the Marauder die, are all +1. That's one of the benefits of being Marauder Cav. All right, let's roll them up. All right, so here we go. We rolled a 9 on the Marauder die, so that is 1 unblockable wound. We also have a 2, which becomes a 3, because again, these are all +1. 2 1s, which will still hit because they become 2s. A 3 becomes a 4, 4 becomes a 5, and a 6 will remain a 6. So we have quite the spread here. But in defense, Peasant Militia will also get the exact same number of dice. That's 6 dice. Here we go. 6 dice, trying to negate as much of this as possible. Now, unfortunately, peasants they have a, I would say ability, but really it's a disability called rabble. They're just rabble. If they roll any 6s, those have to be re-rolled, unfortunately. All right, let's see what happens here. This is the defense roll for Peasant Militia. They did roll a 6, so let's re-roll that. And it is a 2. Well, they needed a 2, but unfortunately not this many 2s. So they do block the 2 2s with 2 2s of their own. This 2 and this 1 will result in nothing. And then they also rolled a 3 and a 5. So that and that are blocked. Here's what's left. A 4 and a 6, and the 9 on the Marauder die. So that'll be 1, 2, 3 wounds total. And they already had a wound. Each figure has 2 wounds, so a second wound on him will peel him off. And then 2 more wounds will peel off another guy. So already they're down 2 troops. All right, let's then move on to the Peasant Militia. Oh, that's right, they do get to strike back. They only get a single die per figure in the front rank. They have no attack bonuses, but again, they do have that rabble disability. So any 6s they roll here have to be re-rolled. No 6s, and I should have also mentioned the Marauder Cavalry are armor 3, so only 4s or better will hit them Boom, here we go. Get rid of the 1. We have a 4 and a 5. All right, 2 dice in defense for the Bandit Marauders. They do have a defensive special ability called Resilient. Any 1s they roll in defense get to be re-rolled. So let's see if they can block any of this. And they don't block at all. A 4 will block a 4, but this other 4 will let the 5 get through. So in return, the Peasant Militia have done a wound to the Marauder Cavalry. All right, very good. And that was an entire round of combat. And that was turn 1 for the Bandit Marauders. All right, turn 1 for the Regal Guard. Well, I'll tell you what those peasants are going to do every turn from here on out is brace themselves. I don't know if you can even see this, but it's a little token that says brace, courtesy of Litco. I get all my tokens from them. We'll pop that on there. They get a brace die. This extra die is just an extra die you can use on defensive rolls in close combat. And by bracing, they will not take a close combat action this turn. Why might you want to do that? Well, especially in cases like this, Peasant Militia have no business going up against Marauder Cav. So on their turn, they are going to forego their close combat and instead brace themselves so that they'll get an extra defense die on the Marauder Cavs next turn. All right, and then here's where the cavalry starts piling in. Now, these Regal Guard Heavy Cav have a movement of 5, and they're going to move twice here. So let's go ahead and measure that out. They're going to just shoot up as far as they can, using both of their actions as movement actions. And there you have it. All right, so that's as far as they could get this turn. They used both of their actions to move. No magic, no shooting, and close combat. Well, they decided to brace themselves, so there won't be any close combat. Let's move over to turn 2, Bandit Marauders. All right, well, they're excited to go after those Peasant Militia again. Another initiative roll-off. This time they didn't charge, but they still have the cavalry special ability, so they're a 3 plus 1 to a 4. So a 4 plus 3 is a 7. And then with that 7, unfortunately, that means the peasants aren't going to be able to do anything. They're not going to be able to go first because they are initiative bonus is 0, so the highest they could get would be a 6. But they only roll a 2 anyway, so it is a 7 to 2. That's right, Bandit Marauders go first. All right, so just like last time, 6 dice plus the Marauder die. These are all plus 1 except the Marauder die. Oh my gosh, the Marauder die is a 9. Don't forget, Marauder die on a 7 or above is an automatic wound. All right, so that is a automatic wound no matter what. This 1 becomes a 2. This 3, all 3 of these 3s become 4s. And then we have a natural 6 and a 5 becomes a 6. All right, so here's what we're looking at. And then in defense, Peasant Militia are going to get 6 dice. These are, no. They also get their brace die. So they get 7 defense dice versus 6 attack dice. Now don't forget, 6s have to be re-rolled because the peasants are rabble. And they do have a 6, so we will re-roll that. It's still a 6. That's good for them. All right. So they have a decent defense roll here. So these 2 1s are obviously not going to be anything. The 2 3s, unfortunately, they only have a 2 that will benefit from that. And then a 4 5 6 will block 2 4s and a 6. So just like last time, they're going to end up with 3 wounds. 1 from the Marauder die and 2 from the combat dice. That's both good and bad. We'll get into that in a second, but let's do the 2 combat dice first. So that's 2 more wounds, another peasant gone. And then the Marauder die wound will put a wound on someone in the front rank. Now the good news is, the bad news of course, is they're cut in half now. When a unit is at 50% or less, hey Hal, nice to see you. They are panicked, which means their initiative bonus becomes 1 less. And you can see already how important initiative going first is in Battlefields of Mana. All right, so here we go. these are going to be attacks back. The good news was they didn't lose anyone in the front rank, so they'll still get their full complement of front rank attacks. That's going to be 3d6. Again, looking for 4s or more, re-rolling 6s. Oh, unfortunately, they rolled a 6, which re-rolled into a 3, and that's going to be a whopping nothing. Nothing got past the armor, and now it is time for Regal Guard turn 2. Again, Peasant Militia, they're not looking too good. They are going to brace themselves. And yes, initiative bonuses can go negative. So Peasant Militia by default are an initiative bonus of 0. Now that they're cut in half or less, they're panicked. So they are now initiative bonus of -1. All right, and then here's where the fun begins. We're going to move, and this should be within, so again, heavy cav for the Regal Guard have movement of 5. As you can see here, it's not quite enough to get into combat with the Marauder cav in a single turn, so they are going to have to use both of their movement actions again, which means they won't be able to take a close combat attack. We don't even need to measure it because we know they can move up to 10 inches. Boom, right into the rear. All right, so what happens first, since they won't be able to do close combat attack, is they do still get their collision hits. Again, it's a d6 number of hits. In this case, it's 3. These are unmodified. Again, armor value 3 rather, so they need 4s or more. Oh, God, not a single collision hit, so they won't get anything. All right, and that is it for Regal Guard turn 2. Braced ourselves and collided into combat. Peasant Militia have 5 wounds left. The goal here is to eliminate these Bandit Marauders without losing all the peasants. That's not looking good so far. Now, it's Bandit Marauder turn 2. Let's go ahead, or turn 3, I think. Yep. We are top of round 3. Bandit Marauder turn 3. Okay, so here we go. Here's what's going to happen. Even though it's Bandit Marauder turn, if they decide to attack someone in close combat with them, which of course they are, everyone in close combat gets to respond. So that means these Regal Guard heavy cavalry will get to attack. We need to now roll off initiative for these 3 units. Let's start with the Regal Guard. As I mentioned at the beginning, the Regal Guard have this gorgeous unit commander attached to them. Unit commander bumps the initiative bonus of the unit he's attached to a 5. Now, they also have a rear. They are in contact with the Marauder Cavalry's rear. That's a +1 initiative bonus. So they're a 5 up to a 6. 6 plus, I'll re-roll that. 1 is a 7. All right, so they are initiative 7. Marauder Cav are a 3. They no longer get that cavalry bonus that goes away if the unit is outnumbered, which they now are. So they are just strictly a 3 down to a 2. They get a -1 initiative modifier when they're outnumbered. And in this case, they are outnumbered. So now they're a 3 down to a 2. A 2 plus 1 is a 3. They are initiative 3. Peasant Militia, they were a 0, cut in half. They're panicked, down to a -1. -1 plus, what is it? I can't even see. 2. Oh, man, that was their chance to strike first, is a 1. So 7, 3, 1 will go right in that order with, oh, man, we are absolutely hoping here that these Regal Guard Heavy Cav can put a dent in the Bandit Marauders right here, right now. Regal Guard Heavy Cavalry get 3d6 per unit in the front rank. A unit commander adds another die to that. So they, by default, get 9 dice plus 1 more for the unit commander. And these are all +1. Armor 3. No, they're +2. I'll get into why in a second. Armor 3 for the Marauder Cav means these need to be 4s or better, but these dice are all +2. +1 because that's just a heavy cavalry bonus. plus another 1 for attacking a unit in the rear. So these dice are all +2. Essentially, only 1s will miss here since we need 4s or more. So, for example, this 1 becomes a 3 and misses. It needs to be 4 or more. This 1 becomes a 3 and misses. All right, now the rest of these will all be hits. All the 3s become 5s. Oh yeah, that's exciting. And then literally everything else becomes a 6. So a 4 becomes a 6, 4 becomes a 6, and the 2 5s become 6s. And of course, we have a natural 6. So this is what happens when you get charged in the rear by heavy cav. Like, are you kidding me? Look at this. 3 5s and 5 6s. All right, folks, here is where the Bandit Marauders kind of get what's coming to them. All right, 8 dice, trying to get rid of as much of this as we can. Now, don't forget, Marauder Cavalry are resilient, which means any 1s we roll here get to be re-rolled. Ben, hello, how are you? So here we go. Re-rolling 1s, not a single 1. All right, well, we already see here that 1 through 4 would do no good. So let's get rid of all the 4s. The 3 and the 2, yikes. So all we blocked was a 5 and a 6, which means 6 wounds. Are you kidding me? That is, and again, 2 wounds apiece. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just when you thought, and I mean, I'm not going to say the peasants are out of the woods yet, but just when you thought the peasants were about to get slaughtered, in come the cav, and they just took out the entire back rank. Don't forget, they also still had another wound on them, so we'll just put that on someone in the front rank. That's 6 wounds. Boom, 3 Marauder Cav gone. And that's a big deal because if there was still someone in the back rank, they could direct their attacks against the Regal Guard heavy cavalry. But instead, their goal, their main focus is to kill these peasants. So they're going to use everyone in the front rank, ignore the heavy cav, and just do as many attacks as they can to these peasant militia. All right, here we go. 6 dice. 6 dice plus the D10, the Marauder die. These are all +1, of course, except for the Marauder die. Let's see what they can do, because they could wipe them out right here. These peasant militia only have 5 wounds left. All right, here we go. We're rolling it up. These are all +1. Oh, yikes. Okay, good news is the Marauder die, which is not +1, is a 6. And it has to be a 7 or above in order to actually do something. So they don't get an automatic wound there, which is big. All right, and then these 2 1s become 2s and will hit. These 2 4s will become 5s. And actually we had another 4, which will become a 5. And then we have a natural 6. All right, so here's what we're looking at. We're going to need 6 dice for the peasant militia plus their brace die, 7 dice to get rid of as much of this as we can. But again, we're re-rolling 6s. Ben, the fire marshal's been here and gone. He liked what he saw. Think he's going to subscribe. All right, here we go. 7 dice. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. All right, not the end of the world. So here we go. Let's count this out. So no 6s to re-roll. 2 2s will block 2 2s. God, is that honestly it? Oh, my gosh, this is not good. 2 5, 3 5s and a 6. They rolled a 1 2 3 3 4. Oh my gosh, these peasants have seen better days. That's going to be 4 wounds. So 1 2 3 4. Oh, that's right, there is a single wound left on the banner bearer. They've whittled the peasant militia down to their banner bearer, and he only has a wound left. If the Regal Guard don't kill off these Bandit Marauders, next turn, it's over. All right, anyway, let's not be all doom and gloom. And don't forget, this peasant still gets his attack die back. He is attacking back. This is their only shot. They need a 4 or more here. Oh, God. And a 1 means they don't do anything. Because, you know, one of these guys already had a wound on him. Just one more wound would have peeled another one off. All right, so that is it. It is now back to Regal Guard phase. This Peasant Militia is again going to brace himself. And then these Regal Guard are going to attack the bandits and hopefully bring this to an end. Because the bandits will not actually get to attack this unit of Regal Guard. They're bracing themselves on the Regal Guard turn if they're attacking the bandits and brace with another unit in contact with the bandits. The bandits can't attack a bracing unit. They can only attack them on their own turn. So this is just going to be between these two this time. So we'll see what happens. All right, let's roll initiative. Again, these guys are 5 plus 1 for being in the rear. So they're a 6. A 6 plus 2 is going to be an 8 initiative. All right. And then the Marauder Cav, look at this. We're a 3. Down to 2 because they're outnumbered. Down to 1 because they're cut in half. So they are now panicked. So now they're a 1. Look at that. It doesn't even matter. They can't roll higher than a 7. So a 1 plus a 5 is a 6. It's 6 to 8. Regal Guard going first. Here we go again. So again, here's what we're looking at. 9 dice plus 1 for the unit commander. That's 10 dice. These are all plus 2, looking for 4s or more. Holy cow. 6. Natural 6s aren't modified by anything, so we'll just put those there. A 1 becomes a 3 and misses, and that's the only miss, because a 3 will become a 5, 3 will become a 5, and all the rest of this, again, they're all plus 2. So these 3, 4s, and a 5 will all become 6s, and we have an absolute buffet. I hope you're hungry. We've got a buffet of 6s on our hands. All right, here we go. 7 6s, 2 5s. Let's see how much of this the Bandit Marauders can defend against. This could be it for the Bandit Marauders. Oh my gosh. All right, so 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we need 9 dice here in defense. 9 dice. Now, don't forget, Bandit Marauders are resilient. These are all re-rolling 1s. Oh my gosh. I think that's it. I think that's it. Well, I shouldn't get ahead of myself. They rolled, look at all those 1s and 2s. 4 1s, 4 2s. Well, unfortunately, the 4 2s are nothing. Those are gone. That's going to be 4 wounds. They only have 5 wounds left. All right, so let's do this. Here's a 5, which will block a 5. Folks, these need to be at least a 5 and 3 6s when we re-roll it. Otherwise, they are eliminated. Oh my gosh, they rolled 1 more 5 and nothing else. 7 6s get through. They don't even get to attack back. They are gone. Bandit Marauders have lost. They whittled these peasants down to the final wound, but they could not finish them off before being finished off themselves by these Regal Guard heavy cavalry. Wow. Wow, indeed. That was impressive. All right, and that was an introductory scenario of the Regal Guard heavy cav starting across the board, moving in to eliminate Bandit Marauders who were harassing these Peasant Militia. Again, the win condition was if these Bandit Marauders could just finish off this unit of Peasant Militia, Bandit Marauders would take home the victory. But unfortunately, Regal Guard were able to get to them before they could do the final wound and wiped them off the board. Victory to the Regal Guard. All right, folks, this was just a quick little kind of a test stream to see how things looked, if everything was like straight on here, if the lighting was okay. I don't really like the shadow that's like right here. And I don't know, just the live quality just is not the best, but we'll see. I don't even like how you can see like the tripod and stuff up here. That's just annoying. Okay, anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I do truly appreciate it. We'll maybe do some more lives in the future, but until next time, folks, that is it for today. I hope everyone has happy, whatever holidays you celebrate locally. But until next time.